Chuck Rosenberg, you have devoted your life and your career to public service and indeed the pursuit of justice. In law enforcement, in public safety, and in the Justice Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, you've touched many areas. In your current role as acting administrator of the Drug Enforcement Administration, where you've served for nearly 2 years now, you have continued your dedication to protecting the safety and security of the nation. Your friends in the Tufts class of 1982 remember your warm smile and self-effacing sense of humor. They also remember your commitment to helping others, particularly through a fundraising venture in which you raised money for the Jimmy Fund by biking 8,500 miles around the United States. After graduating from Tufts, you went on to earn a master's in public policy from the Harvard Kennedy School and a law degree from University of Virginia. Beginning your public service career in 1990, you joined the U.S. Department of Justice through the Honors Program in the Tax Division, and soon moved on to become an Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. Your caseload there included matters of espionage, financial fraud, kidnapping, and murder. In 2002, you became counselor to FBI Director Robert Mueller, and then served as counselor to Attorney General John Ashcroft, and Chief of Staff to then Deputy Attorney General James Comey, now FBI Director. You spent 2 years as U.S. Attorney in Houston and then U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, where you oversaw the prosecution of numerous high-profile cases. So your biking paid off in your navigation of the country. After spending several years in the private sector, you returned to public service, serving as counselor and chief of staff to James Comey at the FBI from 2013 until you assumed your current position at the DEA in May of 2015. Chuck, this is a truly remarkable record of dedication to public service, to advancing the fight for public integrity and for public safety at the highest levels of federal law enforcement. The nation owes you a debt of gratitude for your commitment, and the Tufts University Alumni Association is proud to honor you with the 2017 Distinguished Achievement Award. Congratulations.
Nancy, thank you for that introduction. I think you can tell from that I am utterly incapable of keeping a job. I don't think the nation actually owes me anything. I think I still owe quite a bit to our nation. One of the great privileges in my life has been the ability to try to serve. I say try to serve because we're all imperfect, we're all flawed. We don't always get it right. But one of the great things about my current job is that we get to try. I wanted to share with you briefly. I'm always mindful of the fact that the greatest address in American political history was delivered by Abraham Lincoln in 272 words, 2.5 minutes, 10 sentences, and I'm always somewhat reluctant to go over that. I wanted to share with you something that I shared when I was a United States attorney with our new federal prosecutors, when I was at the FBI with our new special agents, and today at the DEA with our new intel analysts and chemists and the like. They are the principles, the expectations by which I think we should live our public lives. Before I do that, I just want to say one word about Tufts. I'm sure I got more from Tufts than I ever left behind. Most important thing that I found here was my wife, who was Mary Howard, well, still is Mary Howard, technically. A year behind me in class, but ahead of me in every other respect that you may care to measure. All right, back to the expectations, and they're simple. First is, by virtue of having jobs in the public sector, Colonel Winnington knows what I'm talking about, I expect people to work hard. I always tell folks that the Department of Justice, we're a little bit different because we have as part of our name a moral value. And so no disrespect to our friends at State or Commerce, but the expectation is that we do justice. Again, we're imperfect. We don't always do it as well as we might like. But for God's sakes, we try. And so I expect people to work hard. The second expectation may sound contradictory, but I actually think of it as complementary. That you find balance in your lives. Because we need you well and healthy in these public sector jobs. We need all of you all the time. So you have to find balance. My wife and I have 2 children. The oldest got into Tufts, but elected not to go here. She's an actress, which means we will be supporting her for the rest of her natural life. Younger one is studying physics in college, also not here, and has a reasonable chance of having a paying job one day. So 2 very different children. But you have to find balance in your lives. We found our balance through them when they were little, through their community theater for our daughter, through baseball and basketball. Our son was a pretty gifted athlete. But you have to find balance because you need to be well and healthy to do these things that we ask of you as a nation. The third thing, and maybe it's appropriate that we're speaking in an old Catholic church. What I'm about to say, however, I mean in a secular sense, not in a religious sense. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care if you're religious or not religious. If you are religious, it doesn't matter what you follow, what you practice. But we're all God's children. We're all exactly the same. There's no difference between any of us. And so it's incumbent upon us to act that we treat one another well. And we try and do it all the time. Although, as I've said in another context, we are imperfect and we don't always get it right. Then the fourth thing, and I'm really close to being done. Your great relief. The fourth thing. When I started as a brand new assistant U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, my mentor, a man named Justin Williams, since passed, told me a great truth, and I've told it to those who've come after me, that we've inherited this gift of credibility such that when we stand up in a court of the United States of America and say something, we're actually believed. That's a remarkable gift. And then he told us, me, that it had nothing to do with me. It had to do with all the men and women who came before us, who were also handed this gift and who preserved it and protected it and ensured that it was handed to those who came after us in better shape than we found it. So my expectation is exactly that you protect the reservoir. You take this gift of credibility that we've been given by virtue of the jobs that we've been entrusted with, and give it to the next person in better shape than you found it. And then there's a corollary to that, so maybe 4.5. We're all human, and therefore we are all fallible. And therefore we will all make mistakes. And as my wife will tell you, we will make them a lot, okay? So the question isn't whether or not we make mistakes, the question is what we do about it. And I think we have to do 3 not so simple things. We have to identify them, we have to admit them, we have to fix them. If we do those 3 things, we're actually going to protect that reservoir, and we're going to make sure that that credibility that we have inherited gets passed off to those that follow us. There's a basic theme here tonight. It's one of service, whether it's Christina or Colonel, Dr. Stone, whoever it may be, Dr. Levy. There's a basic theme here tonight of service. However we serve, in whatever capacity we serve, wherever on the globe we may serve, we're trying to give something back. That's what makes this gift of an education that we receive from Tufts a special thing, and what makes the people that I'm honored to stand with here tonight such an inspiration. So I don't think my nation owes me a thing. I think I'm still in debt. But I wanted to thank you for letting me be a part of the evening. It's a great honor, and Back to you, Nancy.